being joined by Senator Iheyan, the president of Stakeholders in Blockchain Technology Association of Nigeria. Thank you very much, Senator, for joining us on the program.
It's a pleasure.
Well, are you surprised that the Vice President is having a different perspective from what the regulators have been saying about this crypto market?
Well, quite contrary to reaction to the CBN circular when we were quite surprised. This time, listening to the Vice President say what he thinks about what the CBN should have done, we're not surprised at all. We're not surprised because since the CBN released its initial circular of 5 February, we had emphasized, and we continue to emphasize, that we need to look at the regulatory approach that is based on knowledge of the technology and understanding of the risk and threats, and also the opportunities around it, so that we can ensure that Nigeria is not only minimizing the risk and threats, but also, and more importantly, maximizing the opportunities of the blockchain technology, including cryptocurrencies. So we are not surprised at all.
Yeah, and the CBN and other central banks have talked about how cryptocurrency is used for money laundering and financing of terrorism. And the creator of this Bitcoin, first of all, is unknown. And they say it's one Satoshi Nakamoto.
I mean, they have a point there,
you know.
Yes, it's a valid point. I mean, if you want to talk about recognizing or adopting cryptocurrencies, you want to be sure who is issuing it. You want to be sure of the origin of the technology. How can it even be monitored? If you don't know the persons who did it, just like Governor Emefiele was saying, you know, they are unknown persons. Therefore, we cannot even look at that area, ban it, or don't let it come into the banking and financial system. We understand that perfectly. But again, we think that what needs to be done is not to dip our head in the sand, like ostriches do, but actually look at it again. We need to look at it from the point of view of the blockchain technology as a whole. And I think this is the emphasis that the Vice President is also laying. You do not look at cryptocurrencies on its own, like it just dropped from nowhere.
Okay.
To quote the governor of the central bank, it's money printed out of thin air. It doesn't really work that way. That's how it works.
Now, that brings us to this issue, understanding the relationship between blockchain technology and the cryptocurrency. How does it work?
Great question. Blockchain technology, to understand it quite well, you need to first of all go back to the era of the internet. Now, the internet is about the technology for communication, Facebook, Twitter, emails, and all of that. But when you look at the blockchain technology, it's the second generation internet. What that means is, rather than focusing on transferring communications and all of that, this time you're looking at value. And with the blockchain, you can transfer, save, secure anything of value. And when you say anything of value, you're looking at currencies, you're looking at digital identities, intellectual property, stocks, shares, mention it. So this is why blockchain technology cuts across various industries. The most popular application of the blockchain technology is cryptocurrencies, which is what you call decentralized money. Why is it decentralized? Because there is no central authority, such as a central bank or reserve bank, that prints money.
But that's the problem now.
Yes.
I mean, if the central banks cannot get a hold of this, you're just disregarded monetary policy. That's basically what it means. So central bankers would want to get a hold of this money, like the fiat.
Yes, you're very right. Now, this is why we talk about approaches. The best way to approach cryptocurrencies, because the way they operate, it operates like the internet. You can't really curb it. You can't stop it. No bank or government can actually stop it. Even communist China that banned it in 2017, if you go to China today, Bitcoin is very popular. And as a matter of fact, some of the biggest mining farms in the world are in China, over 60% in China. So it means that the more you fight this stuff, the more you make it popular. As a matter of fact, in the last 3 weeks, Bitcoin has become more popular than ever before.
That's correct.
So, and the adoption is coming up on more and more. So as the Vice President has said, we need to look at it from a knowledge perspective. How has others done it? In the US, in the UK, even in South Africa here, the idea is to classify it first. What is this? Is it really legal tender? There is no argument. Even Satoshi Nakamoto, who invented the Bitcoin, never made an argument that the Bitcoin is going to be a legal tender anywhere in the world. The idea is a new medium of exchange.
But the thing is,
yes.
Is Satoshi alive? Because if he's alive, that makes him the controller of Bitcoin. So that makes it still kind of...
The way it works, right? Let's go back to blockchain now. It's a trustless technology. What that means is that you don't have to rely on anyone, anywhere. Not a central bank, not a government, not even on Satoshi himself to guarantee, yes, the creator, the god of cryptocurrency. Not even him has access or control over this technology. Why? It is an open source technology. Open source means that anyone, you, me, even a central bank, can decide to become a node. A node is a computer system in a network of systems. That's the blockchain. The CBN can say, we want to become a node in the blockchain or Bitcoin network so that we can also monitor transactions and validate them. A lot of things that people do not realize is that this technology is so inventive that it has solved a lot of problems that the traditional financial system face. Problems like lack of transparency, lack of security, lack of traceability. It has solved it. The idea is to understand it. Quite contrary.
Now, I want to understand. Since the central bank put out this ban, of course, the youths have been trading on this crypto. It has not stopped anything. They call it peer-to-peer.
Peer-to-peer.
How does that work? And doesn't that, again, pose a risk? Because if you do that peer-to-peer, and then you don't even know who you are dealing with, and then someone runs away with your money, what do you do? How do you create that confidence?
Now, the original idea behind cryptocurrencies, especially Bitcoin, is to enable peer-to-peer transactions, meaning that trying to fight that would even defeat the purpose of cryptocurrencies in the first place. What the CBN Circular has done effectively is to actually push these transactions away from Nigeria's financial system underground. Underground is P2P, what we call peer-to-peer, where you can't even monitor anything. Now, in 2017, the CBN issued its initial circular.
Yeah. Warning against
it.
Asking people to be careful.
It was very specific.
Yeah.
They said, because this cryptocurrency is susceptible to fraud and scams and money laundering and terrorism, stay clear of it. Banks, because you are deposit institutions, with people's money, do not trade in this. But apply your AML, anti-money laundering, and know your customer policies so as to ensure that all your customers who deal in cryptocurrencies are still being served. That was 2017, 3 years ago.
Yeah.
So what has changed in the last 3 years to have informed the need for the CBN to review that very wise decision to now say, let's shut it down? That's the question. From all we have seen, from all indications, according to the CBN letter, it is because there has been a lot of fraud or money laundering through that system. And now, as industry stakeholders, we're very concerned. We're Nigerians too.
Maybe the KYC wasn't effective.
Maybe. So we looked at that, and we looked at some data. Where do you check with data? The mistake or error or mistaken belief that a lot of people have is that you cannot trace Bitcoin transactions or cryptocurrency transactions. That's not true. You can't trace them. As a matter of fact, the real purpose of Bitcoin transactions is that you can trace them anywhere. So we looked at certain data, all right? And we looked at the crypto crime reports published by Chainalysis just this February. Guess what it says? It says that in 2020, the prevalence of the usage of cryptocurrency for crimes fell so well by up to 54%.
Okay.
Now, what that means is, in the entire crypto economy, all of the crypto transactions that the CBN may be worried about, only 0.34%, only
Even though
0.34%
we
are
can
linked to
see-
illegality.
Even though we can see the transactions, but
Yes.
you don't know who owns which wallet.
Thank you very much. And that's where regulation comes in. The crypto exchanges, such as Quidax, Binance, Luno, Bitcoins, all of these guys, they are registered entities. All of these guys, before you buy Bitcoin through them, you must have to create an account. Before you create any account with these guys, you must submit KYC. As a matter of fact, many of them collect BVN.
A lot of them are even asking for NIN now.
Exactly. So what that means is, although you may not be able to completely trace Bitcoin transactions, even though they can be
But you
traced,
know the wallet
you
owner.
know that this is the gateway they pass through. And these gateways are registered entities. So what you need to do, rather than drive those gateways or those gatekeepers, such as crypto exchanges, on the ground by reining their business, as the CBN has done in the last few weeks, what you should do is to bring them to the round table and say, guys, you guys are the biggest partners. You are our biggest allies. We want to work with you. We want to ensure that anyone who uses your accounts or anything, you have your KYC. These guys are too happy to give you data and say, since 2017, these are the guys who have used us. This is stuff. And then you begin to monitor. So all those stuff about the unknown persons, all that is dealt with. This is the approach. If you go to South Africa, they came up with a regulation saying all of these guys should be called virtual assets providers, virtual asset service providers, VAPs. Meaning, henceforth, once you're recognized as that, just ensure you comply with KYC. That's where it starts.
Well, I guess with the Vice President lending his voice to it, I'm sure the regulators will definitely reconsider that, particularly if we recall the article in Financial Times that was on Friday,
about
talking about the
traders.
youths.
Yeah.
I mean, they're like, okay, we really don't care what the central bank has done. The most important thing is that we're making profit from this this
trading
market.
it.
It's
Exactly.
amazing.
And remember, we are in a jobless economy. Okay, so this is where the youths have found comfort when it comes to the youth. So I guess the regulators will begin
Even though
to.
it's very risky, they still find a way.
Well, they really don't look at those risks. They are risk appetite
Very large.
generation as it is now.
Exactly.
Gen Z.
Exactly.